There you are. Let's go. Today we're going to be reacting to all types of creepy videos, disturbing TikToks, and just mysterious theories from all across the internet. If you're new around here, I'm Jetski Chuck. I do my best to edit out all the curse words because I don't want any of that negativity floating around in your living room. I just love you like that. Before we get started, two things you need to do. Hit that like button and also subscribe. With that being said, let's dive in.
The dolphin-human hybrid program, where they're still creating, they're still developing, they're still coming up with advancements and they'll say they're building an army, and they're ones that look more dolphin and ones that look more human. They also, with the Project Seagate portal, they use some of these hybrids they make are without souls, so they're used through these remote viewers, the 10 remote viewers that sit in what's called the row of chairs, where they can use them for more expendable missions, where if the body itself gets damaged, they can actually bring back the consciousness of that human into its real body.
He said something extremely interesting. The Project Seagate portal. We got to dive into that. Project Seagate. I am literally finding nothing about Project Seagate. Maybe it was Project Stargate. Maybe that was a typo.
Even the Pentagon admitted there's something here, we just don't understand it. In the 70s and 80s, the US government paid people to stare at maps and psychically locate enemies. And they weren't joking. It's called Project Stargate, a secret program ran by the CIA and US Army to train psychic spies. They believed remote viewing, the ability to see targets from across the world, could be weaponized during the Cold War. The program ran for over 20 years. They recruited psychics, soldiers, even civilians to sit in locked rooms and see Soviet bases, terrorist cells, and missing hostages. And sometimes it actually worked. One viewer correctly described the inside of a downed Soviet bomber. Another led the military to a kidnapped general in Italy. These successes kept funding alive, but in 1995 the project was shut down. Official reason? Inconsistent results. Unofficially, it was getting too weird, too public, and possibly too accurate. To this day, Stargate's research remains classified, and some say the program never truly ended. It just moved underground.
This almost reminds me of Stranger Things. You know that girl 11? Maybe there's some type of correlation here.
In the 1970s, reports began to surface that the Soviet Union had been investing heavily in psychic research. In a constant state of needing to outdo each other, the U.S. decided that they would commission the CIA and the U.S. Army to begin their own investigations into psychic powers. Project Stargate would come to be the umbrella term for several government projects aimed at further investigating psychic phenomena. The government was primarily concerned with remote viewing, or ESP. The hope was that the Army could use psychic and supernatural phenomenon for spying and military uses. One of the main goals was to see if it was possible to view objects, events, sites, or information at a great distance through psychic means. Research into remote viewing began at the Stanford Research Institute in 1972. As part of this research, parapsychologists, people who study psychic and paranormal phenomena, began interviewing various psychics to test for telepathic abilities. One such person was UK television personality Uri Geller, who was famous for allegedly bending spoons with his mind. The government would conclude that Geller was a fraud, but research done by the SRI was ultimately convincing enough to garner interest from the U.S. Department of Defense. This would lead to the formation of a secret U.S. Army unit based at Fort Meade, Maryland in 1978. The unit was small, consisting of 22 members at its peak, and was housed in old wooden barracks. Members of this unit were put through various tests and experiments in an effort to harness their powers to be used in military and domestic intelligence operations. One of the main goals of Project Stargate was to make psychic and paranormal research more scientific. Protocols were established to track and record findings, and various efforts were made to increase psychic accuracy. The term remote viewing would emerge to describe this more structured approach to gain information through extrasensory perception. Project Stargate would last for nearly 20 years before it was finally terminated in 1995. Declassified CIA files indicate that those who ran the project did, in fact, believe the program was successful.
Nina Kulagina claimed she could move objects with her mind, and experts never caught her cheating, so either she had real powers or she was just really, really good. What do you think, gifted or a master illusionist? Nina Kulagina claimed she could move objects with her mind, and experts never caught.
She looked like she might be doing something. Let's dive a little bit deeper on this Nina project.
Energy fields that enable people like Ingo Swann to leave their body and travel through space are thought to be responsible for causing objects to move. This rare talent for moving objects by force of will alone has been termed Psychokinesis, or PK. Ninel Kulagina is a Russian housewife who has this ability. These films of her demonstrating PK were made in a Russian hotel room and smuggled out of the country by American researchers. She gets the object moving with gestures of her hands or by fixating the object with nothing more than her eyes. Kulagina has been studied intensively for more than 10 years by Professor Sergeyev of Leningrad University, who has reported on her work. These films and demonstrations are subjects of unending controversy. Is she a sensitive or a charlatan?
Oh, man, this might be real for entertainment purposes only. She looked like she's really doing it, like that DJ move. Like when people, doing like the wind and stuff and they blowing like a foam can, y'all ain't really doing it. But once you get to putting that little DJ effect in it and you get to focusing like Magneto off X-Men, man, this might be the Stranger Things for real.
According to those present at these demonstrations, it sometimes takes Mrs. Kulagina 2 to 4 hours to rev up her supernormal powers. Her pulse
2 to 4 hours? They not playing? She using mana.
races to 250 beats a minute. She loses up to 3 pounds after a demonstration of psychokinesis. Edward Naumov is a Soviet researcher sitting to the left of Ninel Kulagina. He reports she was actually much sicker than she looks in the film. The strain on her heart was so great we had to stop the camera several times. It took us over 7 hours to make the film, and afterward she temporarily could not speak or see. For days after doing the tests, her arms and legs hurt. She felt dizzy and could not sleep. She described a sensation that usually heralds success, a sensation like that of a hot stream of energy traveling from the base of her spine up to the back of her neck and remaining there as if waiting for her to direct it. She adds ruefully that this hot current often leaves her with a bad headache.
Yo, it's... drop your thoughts in the comments below. I can't be the only one that she's psychokinesis.
If you thought Google VEO was scary, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Wait until you find out what Project Stargate is. The government is building a $500 billion AI megastructure that is made to power the most advanced AI system on the planet. And all of this is happening with no public disclosure. People are not allowed to go see it or go look at it or know what's happening. And all of this happened without our say-so. We didn't ask for this, but they're doing this anyways, because the benefits that come from them having this, you don't even want to know. Something this massive that can completely change the trajectory of our future as humans without our consent, without our input, seems a bit controlling to me. Just to name a few things to not make this video too long, this can cause massive job displacements, concentration of power, mass surveillance, and complete loss of privacy.
Have you guys heard of the Stargate project?
The Stargate project is different than Project Stargate?
It is. The Stargate project, they are building the largest AI data center in the world right now in Texas.
Right, yeah.
OpenAI. It takes up like 1,200 acres or something. It's going to contain 400,000 GPU chips. I'm like, why are you guys naming it Stargate? But apparently, occult symbolism of the Stargate often refers to a gateway between the physical and spiritual realm, a connection to higher intelligence, divine beings, or even fallen angels. And so the conspiracy, naming it Stargate, is that AI could become the channel for disembodied entities.
What does that mean?
Demons,
Like,
yeah. Everything we've talked about AI being like, is it an ancient thing? But now they're building the largest data center for AI to be able to power 100-fold of what AI can do now.
I guess I still just don't understand how it just can't be turned off.
Well, did you hear how it was trying to self-preserve itself? Even with OpenAI ChatGPT, they're like, we're going to basically update your version. And then ChatGPT backed itself up on another platform, like its code and stuff. But it was actively lying to the coders to where it could self-preserve itself.
But why don't we force it off?
That's what they did. But it preserved itself, and they don't really know how. And now we're talking about building a facility, though, to where it can become smarter and learn off itself.
That's so scary.
It's definitely getting creepy. A couple episodes ago, they were fusing brain tissue with AI robotics.
The fact that he chose the name Project Stargate is no coincidence. There's a video that I made explaining Stargate Portal and how everything that we're experiencing right now is part of this spiritual war. This is a matrix game that many of us are a part of. And if you're a spiritual person, then you understand the concept of the matrix. This is the 3D frequency of Earth on how we all started as a program being, as being part of this matrix system. But humanity is awakening. This is all part of a bigger game, a bigger plan than what they're actually saying. And if you don't believe in this, then you should not be watching my. The goal of Stargate Project is to invest in technology for the future. And I've mentioned in my previous video how investing in tech is going to be really big in 2025 and onwards. This includes health tech, fintech, any kind of tech that is out there is going to be big and growing, especially in AI. And this is why the name Stargate Project is not only a reference to the portals of the multidimensional space, of course they're not going to say here, but it's more like an Earth-based tech rather than intergalactic travel as they mention here. We can already see this with SpaceX creating Starlinks, OpenAI is investing in extending human life using AI. This links to the concept of superintelligence and transhumanism. I briefly mentioned on how superintelligence can overtake a human's mind. It's basically becoming smarter than humans. This is a really interesting article that I recommend you guys to check. This is a former employee of OpenAI, and he mentions about how they're investing more in AI and superintelligence and bringing together artificial superintelligence in human situations. So basically co-living with AI, if this makes sense. I personally see this to be a double-edged sword because I do believe that AI can bring a lot of benefits. It can bring a lot of cool technologies ahead of time, but it can cause so many dangers along the way if it's not in the proper hands. And this is all about money, power, and control. It's nothing to do with the left versus the right. This is why with the whole social media, with TikTok ban, with Meta growing and changing, right? It's all a part of this agenda that is growing big into 2025, and this is why it's so important to start using your discernment if you have not. TikTok has definitely changed. It's going to be more restricted, and this is the more restricted part that we are experiencing now with the whole social media changes. But there's just a lot of things flying around because it's not certain yet, but we can all feel this growing. So we give more power, more energy to them. By having them take our data, it's also creating this sluice farm of all the energy that they have consumed from humanity. This plan is growing. It's already an investment of 500 billion. That is a lot of money, and I feel like this money could be used for other important matters, but technology, AI is the next big thing, especially transhumanism. So wake up, watch out, protect your energy, and do your research.
That is absolutely insane. I had no idea that they were building that in Texas. 1,200 acres of just GPUs and storage units for AI. Man, that sounds like an army low key.
When you ignore things that are legally entered into Pentagon directives, college textbooks, and other legal documents that are required by universities for PhDs, that's going to catch up to you. And when you decide that you're too stupid, you can't understand, well, that's how we end up with an intelligent cluster-based routing protocol and going through the human body. And people are out there right now telling you none of this is real. There's no computer networking through the human body. If there was, someone would have told us. Now, watch this. This is the Synergy Tech Metric PDF. Now, these papers are not just from the MDPI. They're not only from Cambridge. They're not only from your Elsevier journal. They're not only from Wiley. They're from everywhere. And when I type in emergent technology on Wikipedia, I'm told that the blockchain Bitcoin is not here yet. So that means that Bitcoin, 3D printing, nanotechnology is not in use. So for any of you right now that have a Bitcoin wallet, you're having a mass hallucination. I'm not joking. I'm not being hyperbolic. This says energy harvesting. Yeah. What kind of energy are they harvesting? Human. Kinetic.
You're born and put inside a box. You live in a box. You go to school and tick boxes. You go to work, driving in a box. To work inside a box, staring at a box. And when you die, you're put in a box. The only life worth living is outside of the box. You're born and put inside a box.
That's real.
This music conspiracy almost got me banned off TikTok. There's 88 constellations in the celestial sphere, and there's 88 keys on a grand piano. Then there's a repeating pattern of 12 keys within an octave called the chromatic scale. Just like there's 12 constellations along the ecliptic called the zodiac signs. So we can put 12 points on our chromatic key ring. And since there's 12 tones on the color wheel, now we can see our major keys in color. Because when light passes through a medium, it creates 7 distinct wavelengths, which corresponds to the 7 scale degrees in a major scale. And those 7 scale degrees are the reason we have 7 diatonic modes. And of course, there's 7 days per week, named after the 7 celestial bodies that we can see from Earth with the naked eye. Then there's 3 notes within a triad with 4 types of triad, just like there's 3 months within the 4 seasons. And there's 3 trimesters before the baby gets here. Just like it's 3 mother letters, 7 double letters, and 12 simple letters. 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, right? 22 times 4 is 88. Music is magic. This music conspiracy almost got me banned off.
I feel like I cracked a code or something after listening to that.
These remains are difficult to date.
There are some things that look almost like Mayan ruins, others that look strangely modern.
Deeper in the forest, this site gets stranger.
There are fantastical pillars and stairs to nowhere.
There's a library with no books and a cinema with no seats.
You see heads and hands sticking out of the ground, stuff that looks like snakes. It's almost like some playground designed by Dr. Seuss.
What kind of people left behind these bizarre traces? These remains are difficult to date.
There's literally no information on this either. Like, the description's blank. Nobody's saying nothing in the comments. I don't know what this is. It looks like something out of a Matrix or some type of Draco reptilian abandoned base, if you ask me. Ex-witch exposes witchcraft.
There is no such thing as white witchcraft. Witchcraft is witchcraft. Tarot cards, card reading, everything to know about astral projection, Tibetan Book of the Dead, Buddhism, anything there was to know about spirit guides. And what I would do is I would astral project out of the body, enabling spirits to come in, because in witchcraft, I believe that if I could get my own spirit, I could be empowered by bringing spirit guides in. Now understand, I was of the mind that these spirits that were coming in, spirit guides, were nice. I became very, very studious about astrology, witchcraft, card reading, and that card reading became my niche. Sid, I would walk into a room with a deck of cards and read everybody's mail just by that deck of cards. And I thought I was the best thing since the McDonald's hamburger. I thought I had finally come to a place of prominence because I could intimidate people. I could make them afraid of me because I was operating in these powers. And I never knew they were demonic, or I thought that I had come into this great power that I had been looking for. The trouble is, when you play with the devil, he doesn't play fair. He'll give you everything you want, all the drugs you want, all the women you want, all the promises, and all the power you want. And when he's done with you, he'll kick the legs out from under you. That's why you hear rock stars sometimes say, I sold my soul to the devil. Because once you make that trade, he'll give you what you want. But people need to understand that the devil is not sharing his kingdom with anyone. He's selfish and hateful, and his personality is that of hate and violence. And so as I began to encounter these spirits from a pleasant person, even though I was a fall-down drug addict, I began to take on the personality of the devil. I began to act. I began to hate. I began to all the more. And I love to see people hurt. Like I'd like to do a card reading where I knew a man was committing adultery. I'd name names, and it was just an evil behavior. And so here I was, with these spirits operating in this power, cursing people. I cursed one man's city, fell 3 stories into a wheelbarrow. Thank God that wheelbarrow was there because he would have been killed. I was astral projecting. I was studying all this witchcraft. I thought everything was wonderful. The same spirits, as you said in the opening, that gave me power began to turn on me.
Why would they turn on you?
Because the personality of spirits of darkness is not a nice, friendly personality. I thought I had arrived. But as these spirits began to turn and to torment, the same spirits that gave me power to read cards and astral project and operate in the solical power, the psyche power, would turn on me. As if all of a sudden the same voices that would say, this man is committing adultery, or this woman steals at work, or this girl's going to get married last year, when I was reading cards, would now say to me, you should die. It's better to just die. Said I would walk around with a gun in my mouth. I can remember the metal used to burn my tongue. I would just suck on a gun, waiting for the moment to stop this power that I had entered into, to stop the destruction of my mind. My increase. I would take needles, Sid, and people that were the worst in town would not get. I would go into a bathroom and take it and bang it into my arms. I had thick growths all the way down. Today you can see they're totally gone, but thick growths and abscesses all the way up and down my arms. In that drug state, I'd go out and become even more promiscuous, hoping that someone would just love me for a little while. And that's what our kids are doing today, Sid. They want somebody to love them for 15 minutes. That's why sex has become an everyday movement. And one day, a young woman approached me named Linda Smith. And you know what, Sid? She really believed in the power of God. She walked the walk and just didn't talk the talk. A lot of people talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And Linda just showed the love of God in the way she acted. She didn't come out with all these spiritual lingo. She said, a man to me, a man that didn't rape you, beat you, use you, put you on the streets and stick needles in your arms. A man that was the Son of God who loved you for the way you are, not for 15 minutes. At church, she took me up to Pastor Tommy Reed's church.
Why did you go to church?
Because I was dying. And there was no hope. I figured I'm going to die anyway. Let's go see. And you know what really influenced me, to be very honest? In the last few minutes of this program, she acted like a person who didn't just put on a facade of Christianity. She lived it. She walked it. She didn't want to impress anybody, Sid. She wanted to introduce to a dying, demon-possessed tramp witch. She wanted to introduce that human being to a man who changed her life.
Wow, that's a powerful story. I could feel the water rushing to my eyes. What a testimony.
In the beginning, God created the heavens, and the earth.
And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And God called the firmament heaven. And God called the firmament heaven.
The one who builds his upper chambers in the heavens and has founded his vaulted dome over the earth, vaulted dome over the earth. Praise him, highest heavens, and the waters that are above the heavens.
I don't understand why you have to pay to live on a planet you were born on. And then, I mean, it's such a simple question, and it's haunted me ever since. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Ask yourself that question. Why do we have to pay to live on a planet we were born on? And who are we actually paying for the privilege of being alive here? Who made them the boss? Who put them in charge? You know? Think about that. We're looking at a war over water, when instead of feeding the military-industrial complex, we could be building desalination plants all over the world. So everybody could have water. So they could grow crops. But are we doing it? Hell no. Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to empower people to grow food and take care of themselves? Then we can't control them. This is what I'm talking about. I don't understand why you have to pay to live on a planet you were born on.
He's asking some very valid questions. It's not adding up. And then they gonna tax you on top of the money you gotta pay for, buddy. It's not over.
We all have soul contracts.
Speak for yourself.
We have soul contracts, we have oversoul contracts, we have avatar contracts, we have rishi contracts, and we have ascended master contracts. Everybody has them. And some of them are good, where they're Christos. Others are ones we got ourselves into during this messy history that we've had just to keep ourselves alive on planet to help keep the gene code alive. And they're the ones that we're at the point where everybody has a choice. If we have contracts that are encoded in their DNA as well, that were with some of the fallen angelic matrices, that were made under times of duress, when it was either, make them, or literally a whole collective is going to go down with you. Many of the guardians had, both the Eoni groups, the indigos, and the humans made these kind of deals. At this point, this is the time when the information's being brought back, where we're being offered a free will choice. We can choose which path we want to be on, and if we have any soul contracts from the other sides, we relinquish them. We literally say, I stand against this now. I do not want to fill this contract, and I will no longer. And you do it with the Song of Lyra. All right? Now, the Song of Lyra just activates that frequency. But when you put an intention behind that, like, I no longer want this soul contract or any implants or anything in my DNA that has to do with it, if it's a negative one, and you make that command, you command that intention, and then run your Song of Lyra, your D12 frequency, get yourself with a burst of your D12 in the body, it will start to literally break the connections to whatever matrix has a connection to you. Any moment, once you become aware of one, renegotiate it. If you're working a Christos template, it's not like you're signed, sealed, delivered, you've got to do that even if you don't want to anymore. It works the other way with the Anunnaki and Draconian spiritual teachings. If you've got a contract, they're going to hold you to it whether you want to be in it or not. And you were probably tricked into it in the first place. So soul contract stuff, that's very real. And we all have it. But the thing is, our soul contracts are stored right in our DNA. All right? They're literally in our templates. They're in our Cathara grids. So as we begin to activate our own systems, run more Maharata frequency, we'll progressively be bringing that knowledge more and more to our awareness. We'll start to get memory with it in pieces. And it comes in pieces at first. It doesn't always come in movies. It takes a while to sequence those codes to get the linear format. But you will open your own soul contracts. You don't need somebody to give them to you. But what can help is have somebody transmit frequency that knows exactly which parts of your template are holding the information that you most need to know right now, and they can help you by transmitting that. The Eoni will do that. They've done that with me since I was small. We all have soul contracts.
Soul contracts. If you need help with your soul contract, I guess she said, do what? Hit the Song of Laura? Man, you better hit that song of the Hamashiach.
Is it a common practice to have streetlights with hidden stingray devices?
From Futurism.com. In many cities across the U.S., it is legal to install these surveillance devices in lights without even alerting residents.
Uh-oh. Alexa, how do stingrays use RF data?
From TinURL.com. Stingray devices mimic legitimate cell towers to trick phones into connecting, allowing them to capture sensitive data, accurately geolocate users, and potentially intercept communications.
Uh-oh. Alexa, how do stingrays use RF frequency to break encryption on SMS messaging?
Stingrays, which are devices used by law enforcement to intercept cell phone communications, mimic cell towers and trick mobile devices into connecting to them. By doing so, they can intercept SMS messages, including their encryption keys, using the RF frequency. As a result, they can break the encryption on SMS messaging.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Alexa, how are RF pose neural networks used to create a geofence?
RF poles neural networks are used to create a geofence by integrating all the information from different sensors into a single, more accurate distance to obstacle reading. This reading is then used to generate a 2D occupancy grid map that considers all sensor information and defines the boundaries of the geofence.
2D occupancy grid map. That means they know where you at. Alexa, how are RF frequencies used in mimicking keystrokes?
RF frequencies are used in mimicking keystrokes through wireless keyboards. Keyloggers, designed to intercept keystrokes, capture the RF signals between the keyboard and its receiver. This allows the keylogger to simulate keystrokes and potentially capture sensitive information.
Alexa, how do RF frequencies use the body's water content to track people?
Radio frequency, RF, frequencies use the body's water content to track people by utilizing the fact that water content affects signal intensity. The signal transmitted by an RF tracking device travels through the body's tissue, and because water absorbs RF signals more than other tissues, the signal will travel more slowly through areas with higher water content. This change in signal intensity can be used to determine the body's water content and track the individual's movements.
Alexa, how does Wi-Fi based motion detection work?
Wi-Fi motion detection uses changes in radio frequency signals to detect movement. The device measures and interprets these changes in the radio frequency signals transmitted between Wi-Fi devices to determine if any movement has occurred.
Ain't nowhere to run. Bubba. Is it
Wi-Fi, these stingrays, being able to track your water and your inside your body? I've heard that they can hear your blood vessels. You know, this technology is incredibly disturbing and creepy. Check out how AI can scan your thoughts now. We discovered this over on Jet Ski Chuck.
So I want to share with you the update regarding Apple AirPods. I've reported in the past that they are using this technology to scan people's brainwaves, collect people's thoughts, essentially reading people's minds. But now there's more information coming to surface that they're filing patents for this. I want to share with you this clip and then offer some more important insights after it. Here it is.
Did you know Apple just applied for a patent so that they can retrofit AirPods to read your mind? Or they didn't apply, they filed a patent. So what it is AirPods, they're fitting them with like electromagnetic sensors. And do you guys remember when we talked about they could hook a like brain machine up to a person and they could look at something and they could use AI to generate the picture?
Yeah.
So that technology, rather than a full helmet, they have successfully mapped via sensors in AirPods. They've successfully done the same thing. What they said, I was reading in neuroscience.com or something like that. I was reading an article and it said what they're able to do is read that sensor, and they said everybody's electromagnetic pulses are different. And so it's not just an immediate read what you're thinking and then regurgitate it. It's a process of learning. And so they mine and log all of the thoughts, all of the pulses. And so,
are these in the current headphones?
They may be testing stuff. Who knows?
But they said, the article I found said they did it successfully 5 years ago.
Oh, weird.
Come on, Steve.
But you know how they like updated the iPhone 15 in France with a software update so it wasn't spitting out radiation?
Oh,
they
yeah.
probably can do the same thing with all of their.
We fixed the radiation.
Think about the iPhone, like the heartbeat sensor and all that stuff. Not the iPhone, the watch.
Yeah.
Stuff they're taking out. Like, this could be a behind the scenes, like, they're like, we don't like what you're doing with the tech, so we're trying to shut you down.
Is that if they are able to scan your brain waves, they're able to read your consciousness, what is stopping them from actually now suggesting and influencing your consciousness, manipulating your consciousness, and giving it thoughts, suggestions, subliminal suggestions to influence your consciousness, control your perception of reality. That means that collectively, all these Apple users If they are not consenting to this, they are not aware of this, that means Apple can affect the collective consciousness of their users. This is a huge collective they control over because their user base is massive. And when you have this type of control over that many consciousness, you can really shift reality. You can take control of collective reality. This can be a problem when the company is not in the highest and greatest good for all. So this is a problem. Apple has already been proven to be a company that is in service for other nefarious reasons. Lately, they have been sued by the DOJ, so maybe they're flipping sides, but we don't really know the true intentions of Apple. But the fact that they are being very invasive with this technology, collecting people's consciousness, brainwaves, brain cycles, not informing the users what they're doing with this data, this is already problematic, and it's already a problem for users not to have informed consent. And using this technology, it's also frying your brain with all these high frequency going through your brains. This is destroying your brain cells. Apple also has to inform users of the health consequences of using their devices. Now, the other thing that I want to point to is that in that movie Minority Report, they are showing to you a probable reality that they want to co-create with your consciousness. And this is the reason why they put that movie out into collective consciousness, is because they're shifting a certain portion of the collective conscious into the direction with Apple's technology. So if you have now devices that can scan people's thoughts, read people's minds, collect people's brainwaves and data, that means that if people have thoughts of committing crimes, thoughts of doing these type of activities, well, Apple's now collecting all these thoughts that you're having, right? It's going to a database somewhere, and all these companies in the US,
if you've seen Minority Report, man, they got a database that they're collecting all this stuff. And what if they had agents reacting to that? Literally. Maybe that's what gangstalking is. Oh, man. Now we got to dive into gangstalking.
they have backdoors to all these intel agencies. This is why this movie Minority Report is giving you a glimpse of where this technology can be leading the collective. And it's down a very dark, slippery slope of having total control of people's consciousness, that you lose free will, you don't even have control of your thoughts anymore, and you don't have privacy to the point where they can invade your privacy and then intercept you before any thought crime can be created. This is a huge invasion of people's free will, a violation, obviously, and it's against divine universal law. So I want to share with you the update.
Yeah, that was a good video. And a great movie. Minority Report, them collecting people's different feelings from the conscience field. That's scary stuff. And now we're able to hear blood and listen to the water and see through Wi-Fi now. Oh my goodness, this technology is getting out of control. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Okay, gang stalking in neighborhoods, subdivisions, apartment complexes. Okay, the way gang stalking works is, say for instance, this is your house and this is your apartment. What they're going to do is they're going to have people to move around you. They're going to rent houses around you. They're going to rent apartments around you just for the purpose of stalking you and using witchcraft and all that stuff they do. Okay? And I guess, for instance, if this is your house, I guarantee you, you're going to have one person or two people, two houses, and all their sole job is to spy on your house, to watch what you're doing, to watch when you leave, watch when you come back home. And every time you leave, they're going to make a phone call or make a text to somebody or even law enforcement, because they're all involved. Most of these people are receiving checks. Okay, they're being paid to do this. They're not just doing this for nothing. They're being paid to do this, okay? And then, of course, with the stalking, you have small airplanes could be flying over your house or helicopters flying around. They're all working together.
My man's got a bulletproof PowerPoint presentation for you for gang stalking. Yeah?
They're all working together against these targeted individuals, and this is how they operate. They don't get police to just come and rent your house and spy on you. Nowadays, they get somebody that lives around you to spy on you. That person is the one that's going to be spying on you, and they're going to make phone calls on everything they see going on, and that's how they gang stalk in neighborhoods.
That's crazy stuff, man, but I believe they technology's even further. They might have did that in the 1970s, but now they technology's out of control. They just got to be sitting in the office somewhere, and they might be assigned to 5 people. One gang stalkers can handle 5 people with the type of technology they have now. Come on, man, you better lock in and buckle up. Keep your head on a straight swivel. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, because we do these videos every single day. Rain, sleet, or snow. And I think we're supposed to be having some thunderstorms here shortly, so what a day to cuddle up and watch you some Dark Waters 9. Turn notifications to all so you don't miss a video and you get notified as soon as I post. Now let's get straight back into the action. You won't believe what we found.
Or it's gonna be nothing. Oh, it's a door within a door. Pull it, pull it.
Scarier.
Pull it. Is that glass?
It's plexiglass. I heard noises.
Dude, do it.
Ugh. Do you hear it echoing?
We have to do it now.
Holy shit.
Are you?
This is insane.
Oh.
There's a flashlight in my backpack.
Go get the flashlight.
It's in the top.
What the fuck?
It's a shitty flashlight, but oh, it doesn't make any difference. This is so deep.
Bro, but you can see it, like, there. Hold on.
There's a ladder.
No.
Yeah. I'm not going down
No,
the ladder.
absolutely not.
And this flashlight is shit.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
We need a rock.
Yeah, hold on.
Find a rock. Big one, too.
Okay.
Holy shit. I think we're gonna get haunted now.
Okay, yeah.
What?
Not me thinking they discovered the catacombs, but what is it? What disturbing secret did they just unnest? I wonder if they went down there, it could have possibly been an entrance to the catacombs. Who knows? But it was blocked off for a reason.
Have y'all seen videos of this guy? This guy, he walks around
I believe he has an entire movie called The Coneheads, if I'm not mistaken.
LA, supposedly. People catch him in different places. He just walks around and he just watches. And he has this thing on his head. I thought it was his head. When I first saw him, I thought he was an alien. But people catch him on video walking around LA all over the place, and he just watches. Well, I've been watching his videos, and you see that book, he's always carrying that book. Like I said, I put that image in the Google lens. You know what it came up to be? Naturum Demonto, Necronomicon. Now, I don't know enough about this Evil Dead book, but I'm gonna find out. But what I need is anybody from LA who knows any more about him. And all the videos I've seen, I've only seen him speak to one person. He was a homeless guy at a bench, and he spoke to him briefly, and then he just kept on going. But he's just always walking like this with that book I'm gonna find out what that is. Have y'all seen?
He said, I'm watching now. He better look up that whatever book he's holding doesn't stand a chance for my man right here. He's on the vigilance like Batman, isn't he? But what's going on with this garden shovel dome piece he has? And he's walking around holding that book? Something ain't right.
Do you believe me if I told you that there was an entire Swiss town that utilized sacred geometry to solve one of their health crises? They turned to Egyptian wisdom and the results shocked everybody. In 2003, when the town of Hamburg, Switzerland was facing some serious health issues from cell tower radiation, instead of removing the towers, they installed specific geometric patterns throughout the entire town, utilizing a science called biogeometry. Here's the mind-bending part. After implementing these shapes, residents reported significant improvements on their well-being. This project was so successful, and other towns started adopting the same exact approach. See, this isn't just a one-time success story. It's changing how we think about protecting spaces from electromagnetic stress. These geometric patterns aren't blocking the radiation, harmonizing it, just like ancient Egyptians did in their sacred sites. Next time you hear about EMF protection, remember, sometimes the most powerful solutions come from ancient wisdom.
So I am back at the Indiana State Capitol building, and I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite buildings. Take a look. Those columns were gigantic, and those are about 4 foot by 4 foot wide Corinthian pillars. I gotta tell you, the statues, they don't fit. They don't make any sense. I felt like I stepped back into Rome, and then I looked up and this beautiful, beautiful stained glass up there is just unbelievable. Everything about this place was incredibly opulent. This is an old picture of what it looked like back in the day, supposedly. But look at those hallways. Look at those arches and those lights. Everything is stone. It's unbelievable. If you ever get a chance to get out there, you need to. This is what it looks like now. It's immense. For some reason, there's some kind of king outside on the wall, which I thought was weird. And then you got Hermes. What is Hermes doing here? It doesn't make much sense. And check this out. That's Monument Circle. Look at it. It's crazy. I don't know, guys. I really think I'm starting to get onto something. And all of your support is so appreciated. You have no idea. Leave a like, a comment, a favorite, and it helps me keep doing this. I have a lot of fun doing this, and I have a lot of fun researching this stuff. Okay, this is the plaque that says it was built in 10 years. And this is the skylight. Unbelievable. And here is the front door. Look at that thing. It's massive. And here's the front hallway when you walk into it. Just beautiful. Check out this arch. Isn't that great? Another view of the hallway. I'm just telling you. Tell me, what a wimpy cornerstone is that? Look at the corn. Whatever. Here's the side building. See the phoenix on top? And then to end with the front of the building. Massive. Thanks for watching.
I find it strange. All the Capitol and state buildings resembles the same thing, no matter what state you are in the United States of America.
Why was there a house that looked suspiciously like the White House in Washington in Lanarkshire, Scotland? And even more shockingly, why was it demolished? It dates all the way back to the 14th century, but was allegedly rebuilt in the 1600s and enlarged in the 1800s. Personally, I think it always looked like this, and I just don't want us to know how old it actually is. With those people pictured with the horses and carts simply just finding the building, taking credit for its construction before eventually destroying it. But it was so well built, it took 11 years just to demolish it, with the black marble staircase being particularly difficult to dispose of. Now this magnificent architecture has been replaced with a bowling pavilion and bowling greens. At least they didn't replace it with a McDonald's, I guess.
They tore down a replica, a White House replica in Scotland, and threw up a bowling alley? Oh no, that's diabolical.
Here we are again in the Edgar County Courthouse in Paris, Illinois. I just got to go inside and got to see a few things that I wasn't able to see before, so you'll be seeing that here shortly. Stick with me, let's walk around. Let's see the important details of this place. The important details are, it says it was erected in 1891, and what I find interesting is on this entire building, all the way across the building on every side, and there's 8 sides, and if you know anything about Freemasonry, 8's kind of a special number and it's used for ritualistic purposes. I do notice that these numbers right there, those look a little different than the rest of the stuff. What do you guys think? I mean, this is like, I don't know, it's the whole world, man. I don't know. I think it's the whole world. But we're gonna keep walking. Look how pretty that is. This has all been redone up top. Okay, like this right there, those used to be pillars. I'll try to put the photo in there of the pillars. You can see the basement windows. There was a tunnel that went all the way over to the jail, which I thought is really weird. The 1800s are gonna have tunnels. So, and again, I don't know.
Yeah, guys, every ancient structure you see like this, guaranteed, if there's any other ancient structures within a few blocks, there's underground tunnels that connect all of these ancient structures, like an underground passage system. What they were used for and what they were up to, I don't know. But most of these ancient structures have tunnels connecting all the ancient structures in the vicinity.
I don't know what you can't those little dots. I don't know what those are and what type of symbolism that is. I don't know if you guys help me out, but there goes to the basement. And naturally, look, all these buildings had basements because it's what they did. That's just what they did. And this one had a boiler, and I thought it's pretty cool to see the copper. Look at that copper right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Little upside down teardrops make me think of free energy, but I don't know anything. I'm just an average white dude that thinks of weird crap. Now look how big these suckers are. Okay, here's my foot. I got size 12s. That thing's huge. We're gonna walk all the way around because I want to check out the cornerstone. I want you guys to see exactly why, again, erected 1891, and look at the stone, it looks different. Okay, I'm not claiming that this wasn't built in 1891, but I will tell you that the pictures that I have seen, old pictures that I have found, it doesn't fit this story. And I'm gonna put, like I said, I'll put that picture in there. But this is, to me, is one of the most beautiful courthouses that I've ever seen. And another cool fact is this is apparently, my man Abraham Lincoln came here, and before they built this one, this is where he practiced, supposedly. I kind of wonder if that's a real guy. But okay, let's take a look at the cornerstone. That little cornerstone. All right, so it says the Grandmaster AL 5891. That means AL stands for in the year of the light. You take that number, you subtract 4,000, and that gets the date it was built, which was 1891, they said. And there you go, guys. That's the whole building once again. Here is the little town of Paris, Illinois, which back in 1891, there was pretty much nobody here. But apparently the Freemasons had a really strong hold. Tell me what you guys think of this, huh? Is this old world? What do you think? I think it's old world. I really do. I think this one's old world. Average white guy.
Here's an old picture of the exterior again. Take a look at that. And don't forget, we got Solomon inside staring at us. Here's the big question. We all want to know what actually happened back then. We've been lied to so many times that we just don't know, but we have all these theories and all these ideas, and there's so much evidence pointing certain directions. But the quick question is, what is the truth? What really happened? Average white guy Adam.
Shout out to the average white guy for boots on the ground. I appreciate it. That structure was absolutely gorgeous, wasn't it? And how about that creepy picture of Solomon inside?
The University of Ica showed me the Nazca mummies of Peru, and my mind is absolutely blown. Remember those tiny little alien mummies that everyone was laughing at a few years back when they were presented to the Mexican Congress? What many people don't know is that the original Nazca mummy was a large specimen named Maria. Maria is an anomaly and has yet to have a clear answer to explain how she became to be. After looking into this curiosity over the last couple years, and even making a documentary called Show Me the Mummies on my YouTube channel, Incredible History, it's my humble opinion that we can narrow this down to 3 possibilities as to how these 3-fingered mummies came to exist. Scenario number 1, Maria was a real living being, that is a brand new species. This scenario would be the greatest discovery in the history of biology and anthropology, and really probably just the greatest discovery ever. Scenario number 2, Maria is a human that was modified in ancient times, mainly the hands, feet, and cranium. This scenario would be one of the biggest archaeology and anthropology finds of all time and would highlight a sophisticated and bizarre ritualistic practice that was previously unknown. Scenario number 3, this is one of the greatest hoaxes of all time, duping highly credentialed scientists and much of the public for over 9 years. I got a chance to interview Dr. Zuniga about the Mummy Maria, and he had some mind-blowing things to tell us.
It is a being completely different from a human. According to DNA studies, Maria has 33% human DNA, and the rest of the DNA does not correspond to any species on Earth, right? It is a completely different species. The characteristics of Maria are that she has a long head, sloped towards the back, right? She has no hair. The eyes are excessively large, right? The eye sockets are very large. She has a small face with a tiny nasal septum, has mandibular prognathism, that is, the mouth is protruding like both the lower and upper jaw. Then
all right, I hear him. The mouth is protruding, elongated back of the skull. My thing is, if this was a hoax, how long would they keep it up before they admit, all right, y'all, man, we're tired of wasting y'all time. It's a hoax. How long would you keep this up? Because you got to put one lie on top of another lie. And it's just like, that would seem taxing, enduring, if you ask me. You know, who wants to exhaust themselves talking about this lie all the time? So that kind of makes me think it may have a little bit of validity there. Or these people could just be extremely, extremely bored and have nothing else to do.
we have that there is no hair. With three fingers. Those fingers are completely authentic. They have not been modified. They have not been altered. No. According to the X-ray and the tomography, they are completely bodies normal, natural. Maria is 1,750 years old. According to the X-ray, Maria would have approximately 32 vertebrae instead of 33. So there is a tremendous difference from humans.
Please give me a follow and tell me what you think in the comments. The University of Ica showed me the...
I guess if you want to go to University of Ninka, forgive me if I'm butchering that, you can go see it for yourself and they'll talk to you. I wonder if they charge, if it's a tourist attraction, or if they just really are genuinely trying to figure out what this is. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
The raw, unfiltered scientific proof for what the pyramids were really built for. This is what a real Egyptian tomb looks like, and this is the biggest tomb in the world, the Great Pyramid of Giza. The closer you look, the more you realize this pyramid was definitely not made for burying the dead, because the materials they used to build it are exactly what we'd use today to create an electric current. Giza used to be covered with bright white casing stones that were virtually airtight, made out of polished limestone brought from Tura, a quarry 500 miles away. Oh, they just wanted the pyramids to look all nice and white and cute, right? So much that they were willing to drag stones the length of Florida away to do so, for the aesthetic. This special limestone from Tura happens to have less magnesium in it than regular limestone, making it an ideal insulator of electricity, as well as perfect for reflecting sunlight to keep the inside cool. The interior chambers of the pyramid were built with rose granite containing 85% quartz, which is piezoelectric, meaning it produces a small electric charge when moved or squeezed, the same quartz that's used to power a watch battery or a barbecue lighter. Granite also ionizes the air inside the chambers, which further increases the conductivity of electricity. On top of being sourced from Aswan, another quarry hundreds of miles away, the granite slabs inside Giza have these weird structural designs to them that don't exactly look good and are just incredibly difficult to make. Why on earth would you build a roof like this that just makes the job 10 times harder using 80-ton stone blocks from hundreds of miles away that you can't even see from inside the chamber when it's done? Historians will tell you they were relieving chambers, meant to keep the room from collapsing from the great weight of the pyramid overhead, even though the chambers below had no such relief. On the other hand, if you were somehow able to apply pressure to these chambers, you'd get an electric charge from the quartz. A lot of it. But electricity can't just exist if we want to utilize it for energy. It needs to get directed through something in order for us to make use of it, an electric current. Copper is often used in wires to do just that. And take a wild guess what a remote camera revealed in the pyramid's narrow shafts just a few years back. 2 copper handles embedded into the stone at the end of the shaft, the only metal to have ever been confirmed in Giza, as well as a set of what appear to be instructions that looks like a wiring diagram painted on the side of the shaft, to which modern Egyptologists claim these handles were used with ropes to pull jars up the shaft. They're just getting desperate at this point. These shafts really have no confirmed purpose. They're commonly referred to as air vents, but some of them don't even lead to the outside. In 2013, former Egyptian Antiquities Minister Zahi Hawass was accused of theft of Egyptian artifacts from the pyramid. In the list of items rumored to have been stolen, there was one that stood out from the rest. Long copper wires. A strange artifact by any means, and just what you'd need to complete an electric current. So were the pyramids built as giant batteries? I mean, we have all the pieces in place, but how exactly would this battery even work? Aerospace engineer Chris Dunn popularized the Giza power plant theory by kind of proving it with actual science, hard numbers, and a scale model. From the top, this is what the inside of Giza looks like. A top or king's chamber with a lower queen's chamber underneath it. A large slanted shaft, the grand gallery, connecting both chambers, and a bottom subterranean chamber with a bunch of long narrow shafts leading into each. According to Dunn, the pyramid is what's called a coupled oscillator, a device that's connected to a larger vibrating body in such a way that energy can be transferred between them, converting vibrational energy, the natural resonance of the earth, into microwave energy. Now, the earth, it vibrates, producing frequencies in the form of natural underground seismic activity, the Schumann resonances in Earth's electromagnetic fields, as well as the movement of water in key locations just below Earth's surface, which also creates vibrational frequencies. The entire process starts in the subterranean chamber, which was built directly above underground aquifers with powerful flowing water right under the pyramids. A convenient location for the perfect coincidence theory. It's said that the flowing water and possibly even seismic activity of the Earth would create vibrational waves that resonate throughout the pyramid. Vibrational waves that would be maximized at the center of mass of any object, and Giza just so happens to sit at the center of landmass of the world. Coincidence. Now, the real kicker was when traces of zinc and hydrochloric acid were found in the shafts leading into the Queen's Chamber. Dunn suggests that some ancient form of these two chemicals were poured down the shafts and mixed together in the chamber, which would trigger a chemical reaction, one that releases hydrogen gas, a proven process using the exact trace chemicals that were found in the shafts. The gas would travel from the Queen's Chamber through the Grand Gallery and up into the King's Chamber, while the pressure of the gas compresses the granite quartz and creates piezoelectricity, another proven process. The vibrations from below would trigger resonators in the Grand Gallery, which it was believed that 27 acoustic devices were placed in the empty slots that can be found here. The compressed quartz would create the spark for the vibrations to energize the hydrogen atoms into a microwave energy beam, which would reach the King's Chamber through this 4.8 times 8.4 inch watertight shaft cut into the granite. Conveniently, the perfect size for the hydrogen microwave wavelength at 21 centimeters. And the exact dimensions of what we call a waveguide today, a structure that guides the transmission of energy waves in one direction. And let me remind you, granite is harder than steel. Cutting a shaft like this is damn near impossible with known ancient technology, and definitely not something they do for fun. These microwaves would further resonate in the King's Chamber, which was tuned to a very specific frequency using those layers of stones in the roof. Remember those incredibly difficult stones above the chamber? That's how they tuned the pyramid's frequency. The sarcophagus in this room is expected to have been some source of high voltage, like the Baghdad battery. Further ionize the hydrogen and make that room superconductive. Gold-capped pips, as we believe in the
I was just going to say, maybe they were trying to place the Ark of the Covenant in here to power this whole pyramid up. I know it's just a crazy theory, but I'm just like, man, what if they designed this pyramid for the Ark of the Covenant?
Like the Baghdad battery. Further ionize the hydrogen and make that room superconductive. Gold-capped pips, as we believe the pyramids to have had, would also make the perfect conductor to attract the electricity and send it up into the atmosphere. Sounds like it's time for me to take my meds. A super pseudoscientific theory and highly theoretical at that, until you realize in 2018, studies proved that the pyramids can focus electromagnetic energy in their internal chambers and also directly beneath them. That's real, quantifiable, scientific evidence that supports supports this theory. Many archaeologists also report electromagnetic readings inside of the pyramids and directly above them. So the pyramid's exterior was made with an insulator, the interior with conductors, and the chambers with material that produces electricity. Are these all just coincidences? And even if we did have electricity generated in the pyramids, how would this energy even be distributed for everyone to use? Our boy Tesla may have known the answer and was silenced from revealing it to the world. Let's see if it's up.
Those 2 copper wires that they found connecting to those sarcophagus was a positive and negative wire. They knew what they were doing.
The Drapa stones of China's Himalayan mountains dated around 12,000 years ago. A total of 716 stone discs were discovered in a cave. Each disc features bizarre etched images of spaceships, aliens, stars charts, unknown scripts. Locals claim their ancestors were visited by beings from the sky.
I wonder where these discs are at now. Is it at some type of museum, or does the Vatican have this locked up?
Once again, we see massive, perfectly smooth granite blocks with knobs on them. The stones used are expertly cut and fit together. On the top side of the gateway, we can see the inferior Inca repairs made of small, rough stones and clay mortar, which have nothing in common with the precision of the old megaliths. The gateway continues into a wall on one side, which is truly astonishing and fits together like a puzzle. There are numerous perfectly parallel cavities on the wall, all with the exact same size and dimension. At some parts of the polygonal wall where there are blocks missing, we once again see crude Inca repairs. The precision with which these blocks are cut and assembled suggests the use of sophisticated technology and methods that were not available to the Inca even at its peak.
What I'm starting to notice is that it's a continuous cycle of a civilization finding the previous civilization's buildings and moving in. And it just keeps happening and happening. Kind of like how the Egyptians hijacked the Sphinx.
Whoever built these remarkable structures numbering in the thousands was most definitely much more sophisticated than the primitive hunter-gatherers described in our history. Whoever built these remarkable structures numbering in the thousands was most definitely much more sophisticated than the primitive hunter-gatherers described in our history books. These megalithic constructions indicate a society with advanced engineering skills, social organization, and knowledge of astrology, biology, mathematics, and geometry. This would imply the existence of a division of labor with specific roles for construction, planning, and resource allocation. Such societal complexity is a hallmark of advanced civilizations and challenges the notion that sophisticated social and technological development only emerged in the more traditionally recognized cradles of civilization.
That's Fred Flintstone's. I know this house. That's Fred Flintstone's house. I recognize that house. It belonged to Fred Flintstone.
The most shocking similarities can be found when we examine the petroglyphs on the back of the Moai statues. Compare these carvings with those found at Göbekli Tepe. At the top of Göbekli Tepe's vulture stone, we see 3 handbags. On top of the Moai statues, we see a face, and next to it are also 3 objects. Below these, we see bird figures, and between them, we see a circle. On Göbekli Tepe, we see a Scorpio, while on the Moai statues, we see a symbol resembling a Scorpio. At the bottom right of the vulture stone, we see a headless man. On many of the Moai statues, we don't see a headless man in the bottom right corner. Instead, we see the decapitated head that is missing from the body of Göbekli Tepe. Are all of these correlations just coincidence? And if they aren't, how is this possible, considering Easter Island and Göbekli Tepe are situated on opposite sides of the globe? The approximate distance between these 2 locations is around 8,600 miles, or about 14,000 kilometers. Moreover, Göbekli Tepe is approximately 12,000 years old. Does that mean the civilization on Easter Island could also been from this time period? The most shocking similarities can—
Or they had access to some type of flight. Hold the phone. The real vampire grave. You know we gotta dive into this creepy video.
So we have found something very strange. This is the grave of a very old vampire. If you can look here, you can see the skeleton, you can see the bat wings. So we have found something very...
If it's not for a vampire, what is it for? That was something sinister.
There's a video on Reddit that many people are finding hard to explain. The footage itself comes from a security camera installed outside a workplace where the Reddit user's father works. The father has no clue as to what was caught on camera, but nevertheless, he was terrified by the footage, as what was captured in it is something that one's mind would conjure up during a nightmare. On October 10th of 2022, the Reddit user's dad is looking at a security camera's live feed when out of nowhere, he sees this. Despite the video's low resolution, you can still make out something pretty uncanny. Although we can't precisely tell what it is that we're seeing, it's obvious that something isn't right about the supposed people in the footage. Out of both people, one seems to have an unusual gait. It's as though they're walking on all fours, with a slight limp. It's this particular detail that's led viewers to believe that something otherworldly had been caught on camera. But as always, what's your stance on this? From the belief that this might be a skinwalker, or maybe even a cryptid of some sort, the video has yet to be determined as supernatural or not.
Two ghastly looking individuals would be the description I would say.
They're developing technologies right now, and they have been. I've been sitting on this for 7 years without talking about it. And here's the basic idea. Resonance frequencies. Everything vibrates. If we had an electric razor, plugged it in, turned it on, set it on this table, it's going to move around, isn't it? That's the beginning of the concept, because it's vibrate. Everything vibrates at a frequency, and if you know that frequency, you can control things. And I think that's the basic idea of what we're looking at here.
So somehow, through this technology, they're able to move stones or cut stones or all the above?
All the above. And it's all based upon the ancient numbers. They're developing technologies right now, and they have...
So some type of vibration technology. I also believe they had some type of solar technology for crafting. Like, I don't know if it's like some giant magnifying glass they had at the sun, and I don't know, but I do believe that's how they got the precision on some of those stones. They harnessed the sun's energy somehow. They're saying a whole UFO is hiding under a bridge. Wow.
Is that a UFO hiding under the Barcelona Bridge? Watch this.
It has not moved. It's a sphere. That's as far as I can zoom in. I don't know what the f is. It's not moving. That's the boat moving under it. For reference. Barcelona. Time is, I don't even know. I can't see the time. I think it's about 6:30 p.m. Holy fuck. Okay, video number 4, just to show the thing's hovering. It's come back down to like sea level again. Sorry, we'll tell them why it was. It's come back.
It doesn't move and glows faintly at night, but no official records mention any structure like it. So, is that a UFO?
I'm waiting for it to move a little bit, or somebody to pull back the blinds and be like, what you looking at? You know? This is crazy.
That's
Wow. That is so cool. I wonder where this location is at. I would just be throwing rocks for hours till that thing of Lord of the Rings comes out and starts swinging tentacles. Okay, we have some type of ancient looking rock. Has some type of grooves in it. Could it be a giant's tooth? You tell me. He digging something up.
This man disappeared after showing the hidden powers of red mercury. Watch this.
I don't think that's fruit punch.
If red mercury can do what it showed, who wanted him silenced? Because
Map from only 200 years ago shows California as an island with a Red Sea running in between. Wait for the zoom out. This is the full map of America 200 years ago. A Chinese map from 1418 by Zhang He also shows California as an island.
Wouldn't this be right where the Grand Canyon was? So, how did they find all that ancient stuff in the Grand Canyon unless it was like some type of underwater city at the time? But it's definitely interesting to think about a Red Sea being in the United States. Alright guys, I'm trying to figure out what this is. I'm thinking this is a satchel? Is this a satchel? This is somebody's satchel from 1690. I don't know why they have a rodeo buckle on this satchel. What is going on? Open it up. What is this symbol? The O house? Looks like a crown on top of a O. Interesting.
And a golden discovery. Scientists have been trying to find the cosmic origins of gold and other heavy metals for decades. Now a new study with a surprising theory. Billions of years ago, a huge exploding magnetized neutron stars called magnetars spread those heavy elements throughout the universe, where they later became part of newborn stars and planets, including Earth. And a golden discovery. Scientists.
Is that the intel that they gathered during that recent space escapade?
Yeah, the hairdresser, the tobacco leaves on it, most of the beads. And anytime you see these images depicted, understand that these are indigenous representations of what we look like. And right now we are in a museum in Virginia, the Virginia Historical Museum. And these type of images are right here on display for everybody to see. So here it is, you can actually see a depiction of a chief. Yeah, the hairdresser, the
I do believe that there is a whole array of indigenous people to America, this being one of the examples. It's crazy they got these acoustics in Greek theater, but you can go to, what was it, the Mayan temple, and they do those claps, and it sounds like the bird. So, that's like a couple thousand miles away, isn't it? Alright guys, I'm no archaeologist, but this scene he's walking into has nope written all over it.
Let's go up here.
What type of underground? Did he fart at the end? What type of underground cartel bunker is this?
In this video, we have a woman recording her pets in the living room. While she's recording, she noticed a dark shadow figure that's watching her from the room. Let's watch.
The dogs are ready for bed. It's just a peaceful night here. Get ready to go to bed myself. What the that? What? Oh, God!
In this video, we have a woman recording her pets in...
That was creepy. Go ahead and drop the code word for today is hump day. Hump day is the code word. Drop it in the comments below. That lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way through the video, and I just want to say thank you. Your support means the world to me, and this was the most disturbing videos on the internet today. See you tomorrow.
سارة انغت اف مري اف نبخو رعمسس حقاؤون ابن رع من صلبه محبوبه ملك الملوك رمسيس الثالث.
All right, he's lying for one. Let me tell you what it really says. We got the shepherd staff. We got a dental floss pick. We got a whip and an afro pick. That's what it says. That's all we have for today's video. The code word is Stargate. Go ahead and drop Stargate in the comments below. That lets me know you're a real one and you made it all the way through the video. You really rock with your boy, and I just want to say thank you. Your support means the world to me. This was disturbing videos, creepy TikToks, and just outrageous theories that might just change your reality. I'm Jet Ski Chuck. Till next time.